How can being knowledgeable in how our bodies work improve our performance? Using knowledge of how my body works, I've improved my shot put distance with the right technique. To evaluate on how effective my glide and release is, I'll be examining my summoning of momenta, speed and acceleration, and angle of release. These are key elements into determining whether I'm effective. To achieve an effective shot put throw, I need to summon my momenta in the glide. If I'm to analyse whether I have perfect momentum when performing my throw, I need to know the average for a 16-year-old male, which was resulted in 121.8 kilograms per meter second. To find out my momentum, I need to know my velocity through my glide. Using Newton's law, I can divide the distance by the time it took me to clear the 2.1 meter circle in my throw. In my first attempt, I was only achieving 2 meters per second, which was the average. To improve my movement speed, I had to switch my technique to the glide, which would allow me to move across the circle at a much faster rate, therefore improving my momentum generated from my glide technique. I improved my speed to 2.8 meters per second, which is a 25% improvement. Using Newton's law, I can now use the velocity that I recorded to find out how much momentum I am generating compared to the average 16-year-old male. My first throw's momentum generated resulted in 178.5 kilograms per meter second, which is 68% better than the average momentum generated. Now that I've developed a glide, my velocity crossing the circle is 25% better than my first technique. With my glide, the momentum I generated is 283 kilograms per meter second. This is over 100% improvement from my average, showing that my shot put throw is extensively better than the average and shows my glide is efficient when summoning momenta. To perfectly execute the shot put throw, I need to determine an angle of release that will give me the perfect balance between height and distance. To determine a good goal, I analysed an expert footage of a glide technique. The expert's release angle was 45 degrees exactly. When analysing my first attempt footage, my release angle was only 41%, meaning I wanted to get a balance between height and distance. I would need to raise higher. When analysing my footage using the glide technique, my angle of release was 46 degrees, being just above the experts. Looking back at the first week of recording my distance and technique, my average throw was 7.1 meters, with the release angle being 41 degrees and my momentum summoned being 178.5 kilograms per meter second. After changing my technique to improve my velocity and therefore my summoned momenta, I have improved my release angle to 46 degrees and summoned my momenta to 238 kilograms per meter second. This overall results in a 25% increase in my velocity, a 130% increase in my total momentum summoned, and I also increased my distance to 8.6, which is a 1.5 improvement. Conclusively, my altercations in my technique have led to massive improvements in all three aspects of my shot put throw, and overall led to improvements in the distance achieved.